Public transportation service in Bozeman originated from a study out of the MSU College of Engineering, which informed the 2001 Greater Bozeman Area Transit Development Plan, calling for the investment of resources in a public transportation system. In 2005, HRDC's Gallivan On-Demand Transportation Program and the Associated Students of MSU, or ASMSU, Bobcat Transit Program worked together to create an interim system to apply for FTA formula grant funding allocated by the Montana Department of Transportation. Funding from HRDC, ASMSU, the Greater Gallatin United Way, the City of Belgrade, and the City of Bozeman provided the local match funding required for FTA funding and additional operating funds. In August 2006, once the HRDC ASMSU service successfully required FTA 5311 formula grant funding for rural areas, Streamline service began operation. Now Streamline is the primary transit service for residents and visitors of Bozeman, Montana, and the surrounding communities.
My name's Johnny McConville, and this is Streamline.
I'm spending money like I just got paid. $100 bills, tell them keep the change. Come on, I just feel so good, good, good. Oh, I just feel so good, good, good. Oh, I just feel so good. I see the world through my thrift store shades, rose-colored lenses and a fake gold frame. Come on. And if you're wondering why I move the way I do, I just feel so good, good, good. I just feel so good.
To learn more about Streamline and the services they provide, I got to sit down with Vanessa Palmer and hear in depth about their history and operations. Hi, I'm Bryce Graham, a fourth-year civil engineering student at Montana State, focusing in transportation, and excited to learn more about Streamline today.
Awesome. Yeah, my name is Vanessa Palmer. I'm the Transportation Program Manager over at HRDC. We run the Streamline and Gallivan programs, and I'm super excited to kind of share some details about our programs with you today.
Where did public transit service in Bozeman originate?
Yeah, so for a long time, Bozeman didn't have public transportation. We only had a paratransit system. And so after many years of kind of thinking about it and seeing other cities go through processes of planning transportation studies, Bozeman decided to commission their own. So in 2001, they commissioned a transportation study. I believe it was in partnership with MSU. And out of that study, they recommended that fixed route could work in Bozeman, which was really exciting. So that kind of set the framework of what the next steps would be, which we'll talk about later.
How does Bozeman's proximity to Yellowstone National Park, Big Sky, and Bridger Bowl impact Bozeman's economy?
Yeah, so Yellowstone year-round has opportunities for recreation. And so because we're about an hour and a half north of the Yellowstone North entrance, we have so many people coming here that are accessing the park. And then Bridger Bowl and Big Sky specifically, as well as Bridger Bowl, they have year-round recreation as well. And so that's made a lot of people just want to come visit and want to come explore from all over the country and all over the world, which we've actually seen increase since COVID hit. A lot of people have been in their cars more than taking air travel. And so because a lot of people are coming in RVs and personal vehicles, the tourism here really has exploded.
Who provided local match funding for the FTA funds and additional operating funds?
Yep, so the students with ASMSU were big partners in that. And then MSU, I believe their president's office contributed as well. We also had HRDC had some funding available as well. Because they're community action, they're allowed to use some of the funding that they get for biggest need projects, and transportation was shown to be a huge need in the valley. And then the other thing I would say is the city of Bozeman contributed as well. And so because Streamline is the city's public transportation service, they wanted to be involved financially.
Does it cost to take Streamline?
Streamline is actually a fare-free system, which is It has been intentionally fare-free from the beginning. We wanted to try something different. At the time, there weren't very many fare-free systems in the country. However, because Streamline was under HRDC's umbrella, a lot of the focus of our service was on low-income riders. And so it made sense to let's see what a fare-free system could do with ridership. So we started fare-free, and it was a massive success. We were able to acquire the fare funding that we would have otherwise received from riders from our local partners, which created a lot of efficiencies for us. The buses, we don't have to charge riders, we don't have to have fare boxes, we don't have to have two riders basically be in charge of the money all at once, taking it from the buses into the facilities every day. So it reduced our operating costs significantly. And now that funding instead comes from local partners, which it's much cheaper for us to get that funding through contracts versus individual riders.
System ridership and level of service investment have grown significantly since Streamline was formed. In fiscal year 2019, Streamline reported over 280,000 boardings, almost 4 times the annual ridership of Streamline's first year. Streamline also provides seasonal service on weekends to the Bridger Bowl ski area for 4 to 5 months of the year and partners with MSU to operate 2 late-night routes and a campus shuttle service. How has Streamline specifically been impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic?
Yeah, COVID-19, like everywhere, has changed everything. It's made us really rethink what public transportation is and what it will be in the future. As far as ridership goes, we're probably at about 40% of what normal would be, which makes sense. A lot of people are working remotely or students are taking classes from home, so we expected a drop. And we have seen an increase in the past few months of ridership slowly going back up, which is exciting. The other thing, in addition to ridership, is COVID has made us think about what we want as a transportation system. Do we want buses to be packed with people, or do we want it to be more of a system that just provides a ride for those who really need it? During the Montana shutdown, that was the governor's order, we still had about 4,000 rides a month, which was significant considering we were telling people not to ride. We said, please only ride for essential trips. So that shows that a lot of riders in Bozeman don't have an alternative. They were riding because they had to, either they were an essential worker or they had to access an essential service. So moving forward, we're kind of excited to see where that will go, if we'll get some of those choice riders back, or if transportation really is going to become more of a service for those who just don't have an alternative.
I also had the opportunity to sit down with Bonnie Hickey at Bridger Bowl to learn more about Bridger's transportation and sustainability efforts. Hello, my name is Bryce Graham. I'm a transportation student at Montana State University, and I'm excited to learn more from Bonnie today about how Bridger Bowl connects to the Bozeman transportation system.
Well, welcome to Bridger Bowl, Bryce. My name is Bonnie Hickey. I'm going to go ahead and take my mask off since we're distanced. I am the Sustainability Director at Bridger Bowl Ski Area, and it's a position that started about 2.5 years ago.
How does Bridger Bowl commit to reducing their carbon footprint?
We have a lot of sustainability efforts that are spread across all departments at Bridger Bowl. Every employee at Bridger is committed to reducing our energy use by ensuring that they're using efficient appliances and equipment, the most energy efficient, Energy Star rated, turning off lights when they're not in use. Most of our lights are now LED lights with some compact fluorescence. Managing our heat levels, making sure we're reducing heat at night. All of our equipment is serviced regularly, so it's running as efficiently and effectively as possible. So those are, some of the very simple ways. Very cool. But also, of course, what we're talking about is our transportation, and that's a big part of our effort as well.
Bridger provides transit service between 2 locations in Bozeman and the ski area. Providing this service is part of their commitment to reducing their carbon footprint. This also helps to reduce the traffic on Bridger Canyon Road, which can become congested during peak commute times, and provides free transit service for employees and Bridger Bowl skiers. Shuttle pickup locations are located at the Student Union Building on the Montana State University campus, as well as a park and ride lot at the county fairgrounds. Riders are conveniently dropped off adjacent to the ski area base lodges. The county fairgrounds park and ride lot also provides a location for individuals to meet up and leave vehicles to carpool to the ski area. The shuttle schedule appears in the Streamline guide, as well as on the Bridger Bowl website. Detailed ridership data is collected for each of the pickup and drop-off locations and collected with mileage and fuel use data. How many metric tons of carbon dioxide equivalent were saved by transit riders during the shortened 2019-2020 season?
Yeah, we do that calculation and report it each year, and last year it was 57 metric tons of carbon dioxide equivalent.
Who conducted the Bridger Bowl transportation study?
I did. I took the ridership data from the prior year and broke it out and looked at it from just as many perspectives as I could. But it was basically a study that was geared to how to move the most people in the most efficient manner possible. How can we maximize the use of the buses? Keeping the buses moving, there's a predetermined amount of time for the buses to be able to reach from the sub to the fairgrounds to Bridger. So building in that circulation time and allowing for traffic and winter road conditions as well. So we factored all of that in.
Once at Bridger Bowl, skiers leave the mountain's base area by either of the two base area chairlifts. The Virginia City Triple Chair unloads adjacent to the Mid-Mountain Deer Park Chalet and provides access to the Mid-Mountain and Southerly lifts of Bridger, Pierre's Knob, and Schlussman's lifts. The Sunnyside Quad Chair transports skiers from the base area to the two northernmost chairlifts, Alpine and Powder Park lifts. Also leaving the base area is the Sundog Conveyor Lift, providing access for beginning skiers to the beginner learning area directly south of the base area. Once in the beginner area, skiers can continue to circulate using the Sundog or ride the Flurry Conveyor Lift or the Snowflake Beginner Chairlift. Skiers distribute themselves based on ability and desired terrain. Advanced skiers gravitate to Bridger Lift and Schlussman's Lift, or hike to ski the ridge terrain via designated access points at the top of Bridger, Pierre's Knob, and Schlussman's lifts. Skiers seeking easier to more difficult terrain and groomed runs fan out in a V, heading to Pierre's Knob or north to Alpine and Powder Park lifts. Beginners utilize the runs from the mid-mountain down. The nature of the terrain guides skiers naturally back to the base area as they complete their day.
Yeah, my name is Jason Proshek. I am the mountain manager at Bridger Bowl ski area. I've worked here since 2005, and I work here year-round and have for most of those years. How's snow made? Well, we have a fan gun that you hook up high pressure water and 480 volts of electricity, and the fan blows the water into the air. The key to snowmaking is compressed air though. When the compressed, so each gun has an onboard compressor, and as that compressed air is expanded into the atmosphere, it's mixed with a small amount of water. And when that compressed air compresses, it causes, or when it uncompresses, it causes the water it was mixed with to freeze. So it freezes very close to the gun, maybe 2 feet away. And it's a very small percentage of the water, but when it touches a big drop of water, it will nucleate it and cause it to freeze. So the compressed air is really the key to snowmaking. Some of the original snowmaking guns were just a big fat air hose and a water hose, and the whole thing went mixed together, and they were very effective, but compressing that much air is very energy consuming. So the fan guns are much more energy efficient, and with the gun you're allowed variations in how much water you're putting out depending on the temperature, and you can push 150 gallons a minute through a gun if it's 10 degrees or 0 degrees Fahrenheit, where you might only be pushing 20 gallons through the gun at in the higher 20s.
I also briefly met with Joe O'Brien, Bridger's lift maintenance supervisor, to learn about lift operations and the inner workings of the lifts themselves. It was fascinating to learn that the lifts run on engines with the horsepower equivalency of a small lawnmower. Joe also explained that the lifts primarily run on electric power but have gasoline backup engines in the event of an outage. I would like to give a special thanks to Vanessa, Bonnie, Jason, and Joe for their time and very thoughtful responses. I would also like to thank Streamline and Bridger Bowl for access to their facilities and resources. It was a pleasure learning about the unique transportation solutions that make the Greater Bozeman area a great place to move around.